Okay, folks, welcome back to the Kimber Data Science channel. This is the news we've been waiting for. It's your turn to try Bard. Okay, and the subject tonight doesn't necessarily uh, has to do with data analytics or data science. It's more about trying just to try a couple different things, including coding questions on Google Bard. But I'm going to start with something. It's just a little more, to my thinking, it's a little more subtle. It's a little more open. It's a little more difficult to really pin down or to understand or interpret. That is the Bible, and in particular, I'm going to take a look at Psalm 119. Psalm 119 is the longest chapter in the Bible. It has 170 some verses. Uh, the central theme of Psalm 110 is the Torah, or the law of God, and obedience to the law of God. Okay, but the interesting is, and again, as you'll see, I did some work with this earlier today using Chat AI, okay, Chat GPT. And it's interesting when I said, what are the 10 most common words in the Psalm 109? It said the first one was law, and it occurred 25 times. But Chat GPT said, well, this comes from the Hebrew text, translated from the Hebrew text. So the word that they understood to mean law, the Hebrew word they understood to mean law, only appears 25 times. Then I went through and I had it list the verses with the word law in it. I had to write a devotional for it, and then that's it for that thing. So let's go back and kind of do the same, start out with the kind of the same thing on Google Bard, see if we can see it. And there's some very interesting differences here, as you'll see as we go along. So what are the 10 most common words in the Psalm 110? So they agree, law, but they say 88 times, not 25 times, okay? And so forth. Thy, I, word, 68 times. Now, when I looked at, again, at ChatGPT, it didn't list words like thy and I, okay? It overlooked. Now, it could be because words like thy and I are not actually part of the Hebrew text. They may simply be words added by English translators to make it easier for modern readers to read, okay? Certainly words, statutes, commandments, judgment, but so why is this more? Okay, why does this here 88 times as opposed to ChatGPT 25 times? And which one is more correct? And it comes down here and it says Psalm 119 is the longest chapter in the Bible, and it's what's called, and it's also the most acrostic Bible, meaning that each verse begins with a different letter of the Hebrew alphabet. The theme of the psalm is the love of God's law and to praise God for his word and his law. Okay? And I said, list the verses that law appears in. Sure, here's the verses that law appears in. And they're right, it does appear in verse 1, all right? Blessed are the undefiled in the way who walk in the law of the Lord, and so forth, and so forth. Number 10, with my whole heart I seek you, let me not wander from your commandments, okay? And it does list all 54, or 45. I said, write a prayer based on the 21st Psalm, the Lord is my shepherd, okay, right? Dear God, I praise you for your strength and your salvation. You are the King of kings and the Lord of lords, and you have given me victory over my enemies. You have crowned me with your love and your favor, and you have given me everything I need to live life of joy and peace. I pray that you would continue to watch over me and to protect me from all harm. I pray that you would give me wisdom and discernment as I make decisions in life. I pray that you would give me courage and strength to face whatever challenges comes my way. But what's interesting, it says, in Jesus' name. And this is something that has in common with ChatGPT. It assumes, at least in my case, that I am a Christian. Now, they could have guessed by my name. Well, David Jackson certainly is not a Jewish name, so he must be a Christian. but they assume that I'm a Christian. They presume that I did believe in God and the Bible, which again is sort of interesting. Then I said, which translation of the Bible are you quoting? And this is where, again, ChatGPT says, well, I'm not really quoting the translation. I'm using the translation from the Hebrew text. Okay? It says, I'm using, this is the English Standard Version of the ESV Bible. Why are you using the English Standard Version? Now, this here also could have been written by any professor or something like this. This is almost like something you would read in a commentary or something like that. It says, I'm using the English Standard Version of the Bible because it's a faithful. How does it know it's faithful? Faithful, again, is a very subtle thing. There are people who probably say, no, the ESV is not faithful. It's not faithful. They misinterpreted some words. It's not faithful. Faithful translation of the original Hebrew, Greek, and Aramaic text. It is also easy to read and understand. The ESV is a literal translation. Okay. So again, it's, how did it choose this translation? What is the difference the way Bard is trained and ChatGPT is trained? Which one is, and which one's understanding of Psalm 119 is more accurate? Well, I would say I would probably go with ChatGPT because it's translated from the Hebrew and it's not using a specific translation. Okay. Let's see if it has an opinion on other translation. What do you think about the Complete Jewish Bible? And the Complete Jewish Bible was written by a man named David Stern, who was a Jewish believer. He's a Messianic Jew. Unfortunately, he died very recently, within the last year, I think. So let's see if it has an opinion on other translations. I mean, does it really go out and read every translation it can find? Interesting. The Complete Jewish Bible is a translation of the Bible into English by David H. Stern. It was first published in 1998. It's based on the Masoretic text. The CJB is a Jewish translation of the Bible and uses Jewish terms and concepts. It is also a literal translation. It means that it tries to stay as close to the meaning as possible. I think that the King James, again, this is, I think that the CJB is a valuable resource. Anyone who wants to learn more about the Bible, it is a literal translation. It's easy to read and understand. It also includes helpful notes and commentary. So once again, we see it's anointed. It has an opinion on a translation. Okay. Okay, let's go further from the mainstream Bible translations, and let's look at the Message Bible, which is a paraphrase, a modern paraphrase. So the question is this: what Bible translations would you not recommend? Wow. This is pretty crazy. This is a judgment call. Okay, this is a judgment call. This is really interesting. The New World the translation is published by Jehovah's Witnesses and is not a faithful translation. The Message attributed to Eugene Peterson is not a literal translation. Is a paraphrase. This means that it tries to express the meaning of text in modern English. The Passion Translation and is not a literal translation. It's a paraphrase. Okay, at least it tells you to check with your pastor. It's still interesting that it actually has an opinion. That's all it is. It's an opinion on. It's an opinion on translations. Even if it's basically quoting the established, the standard text, the standard description on the translation, it still says, well, I wouldn't recommend these. So it's really kind of interesting. Let's try this. Let's see if it can actually quote. Now, can it quote text? That's the interesting question. For instance, can it quote the text for the 21st Psalm or the 23rd Psalm, right, from the Message? Now we got the translation for the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I don't need a thing. He gives me everything I need. He lets me rest in his meadow grass and leads me to the quiet pools of bliss. He refreshes my worn out soul. He leads me in the right paths, reviving my drooping head as I walk through the darkest valley. I feared him, and so forth. Interesting. I got an extra 9 there. Interesting, okay. Interesting, law is not the most common word. My mouse is acting up sometimes. Okay, sure, the first 10 verses. How blessed are those whose ways are blameless. who walk in the law of the Lord. How blessed are those who keep. What's interesting is I don't see the word here anyplace. Okay. Reset chat. Yes. Okay, good. All right. Now, where are we? Something a little bit more concrete, I'm thinking. Let's see if we can pick a random data set. Okay, the global distribution of internet users. This data set shows the number of internet users by country, region, continent. It also shows the percentage of the population that has internet access. The data shows that internet is becoming more widely used around the world. In 2000, only 2.5% of the population. Today, the number is growing to 50%. That's hard to believe. The data also shows that there are still significant gaps in internet access. For example, only 20% of people in Africa have access to the internet. This means that there are still millions of people who don't. Well, that's unfortunate, but so what? Get over it. Okay. Oh, good. Here's a sample data. Country, continent, internet users, population, penetration, internet per. Okay, very good. Excellent. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So this is interesting. ChatGPT would be able to find that, would be able to come with a URL for that. Okay. Let's go over here to so Canna, for instance, suggests some code. So it can give me a sample of the data, but it can't tell me where the data is located at, which is sort of interesting. Let's give it one more shot. Okay, so it's still not giving me the location of the data. It can identify the data, apparently, right? But it can't tell me where it's actually located. My mouse seems to be hmm. Hmm. Okay, so here's the data that he's talking about here, I think. And it would appear, okay, share population using the internet. Let's just pop this down here real quick. So the question is now, how does it handle coding questions? So as you can see, there isn't a whole lot to the data set. Just the country and the year and the percentage of the population. Let's come here and change this right off the bat. So I've been trying to help offload this young lady from Tunisia who has the various projects she's working on for. I'm not sure what class it is. It's a maybe like a oh, I really don't know. I spent probably 30 minutes to an hour writing a query today. And the trouble is, interesting. Okay, it says and some of the countries are missing ISOs, are missing code, are missing the ISO code. The three character country abbreviations. Okay. Now, as you can see, she's asking about Power BI. Well, you know what? She needs to do some of the stuff herself. She needs to, do the work to learn to acquire the skills. But unfortunately, I'm not good at saying no. See, like here, we have countries, okay, but we don't necessarily have continents for this data. And this is a very simple data set. It's just a percentage of the population who has internet access. Let's see, where do we want to put this at? Okay, so let's just. So what do we want to use for this? Well, let's see if now ChatGPT will actually suggest will give you code examples. Okay. Oh, good. Well, it did do something, didn't it? Very interesting. Okay. This is interesting, but has absolutely nothing to do. Now again, it's interesting. It can find the name of the code of the data set, right? But it can't actually tell me where it's located at. But it did write some code up here. interesting enough. All right. Okay, well, that's a bit of a problem, isn't it? Okay, so it doesn't have the ability to help with coding, even though I did write a little SQL code there. Okay, well, in that case, let's just open up ChatGPT. So that's a big problem. Uh, it's just interesting that it could, find verses. It could look at a Bible translation and tell us how many times what the top 10 words were. Okay, and it could tell us what translation it's using and why it's using the translation. All right, but then again, but 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 then again, it didn't. It couldn't tell me otherwise. It could give you. It gave me the name of a data set on allworldandata.org, but it couldn't. And it gave me a sample of the data set, but it couldn't tell me where I could find the data set on All World and Data. Excellent. She needs to go to YouTube and watch some videos, okay? Because that's what I'd have to do. Okay. I didn't see. That's interesting. Let's see if we'll find it. Okay, I think that's the one we may have had earlier. See, here's population. That's the one we've got. That's sort of interesting, isn't it? So we got two files, and the question is this. Boy, what do we want to do with this? What do we want to do with this? Do we want to fire it into a Python data set? Python and oh, I don't know. Oh, by the way, if you are lurking in the background there, thanks for taking time off from your day and your evening. But I'd appreciate if you would stop by the chat session and say hi, just so I can do a quick head count of who's actually watching this stream this evening. Also, of course, be sure to click that bell icon so you'll be notified whenever I go live. My general streaming schedule is generally Monday through Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern time. That's New York City time for those people outside the U.S. Sometimes on Sunday afternoon, sometimes on Friday afternoon, but if you click the bell, you never miss another live stream, okay? But thanks so much for your time this evening, okay? All the suggestions and questions are always welcome. So do we want to do this with Python? Yeah, why not? Why not? We'll just open up our let's open up a folder. Okay, so as you can see, we do in fact have two I can of course see Venus shining brightly. It's getting ready to set behind the house across the street from me. At some point this evening, the moon should be making an appearance over my roof here. So it is again just a brief summary. We started out asking some questions, biblical questions to Bard, specifically about Psalm 119. It revealed that it uses, for some reason, it uses the what we know why it does, of course, right? English Standard Version. The word count, the most popular words was similar, but the counts were different because it's basing its counts on the English words and not the Hebrew word behind the English word. I recommended this data site here. It has to do with it has to do with okay, so let's say that. Let's talk head. Let's just do head count. We know it has to do with the internet, right? Oh, The first one has 6,379 rows, 4 columns. Let's just take a look at columns. Okay, let's take a look at the other one. Okay, we can close this now. Again, 6,000 rows, 4 columns. Okay. Let's just get a little. Let's just take a shortcut. Let's go in and let's rename our columns right here while we're in here, and then we reload them up. You could, of course, just open it up in a we're going to call this head count. All right. And we're going to call this country. Let's save that. Let's just call this percent. Country. There. Okay, so we can come back up here, run this again, and come back up here, run this again. Okay, good. Clear cell output. Okay, so now let's come up here. Let's go and get rid of this. Oh, no. Undo. There. So now let's just do head count dot Hmm. Interesting. $3.3 million. Well, Zimbabwe has a pretty daggone high percentage count, doesn't it? Okay. Code. Let's do. That's not bad. 25%. Okay. Now, interesting. This isn't the same information. This is almost like a combination to. This is almost like a combination of two data sets. Okay. Got it. Got it. Got the data frame. Got it. Hmm. Let's go over to DuckDB. I think there's an easier way, but we'll find out here. Interesting. Python data ingestion. Well, my thing is really acting up here. Hmm. Hmm. What in the world is this over here? I have no idea what happened there. That was kind of odd. Okay, I have. What in the world's going on here? Hmm. This is this is this is really interesting. Hmm. That is really interesting, to say the least. I have no idea what happened there. Are we still connected? Hmm. This is kind of curious. Only 3 viewers, average view duration 14 minutes. That's kind of nice. Yeah, my chat inside of Prism went a little wacky there on it, didn't it? Okay. So we're going to try to create a table called head count. That consists of a column called country, which is text, which is text, which is well, that apparently worked, didn't it? Hmm. Okay. That's just sort of interesting. Hmm. Hmm. So that worked. Hmm. My guess is it's probably just. Hmm. There it is. How about from hmm. Okay. Let's do a count. just to make sure. That looks good. Hmm. 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 So this down here doesn't work. Okay. So let's get rid of this then. It worked partially, but for whatever reason. Yeah, so it was interesting that Bard couldn't write any code. And even though it gave me the name of a data set on Our World in Data, and it gave me a sample of the data, it couldn't actually give me the link to the data set itself. Okay, we went out and renamed some of the columns. Yet when we rerun the read function, it's still reading the original version. It's kind of interesting. Let's try something. Let's close this. You open this. So let's get rid of duck for the time being. Yeah, I know that 3.11's out, but I had some trouble with getting some of the packages to run or updating the packages. So I just rolled back to 3.10.8. Interesting. Let's do it on code, because code is a three-digit character. And year. All right? Six columns, 10,370 rows. So I'm not sure if that's right or not. Excellent. Okay. So let's try tail. Okay, very nice, very nice. I'll be right back in like two shakes of a dog's tail. Okay, so the question at hand is the EDA. Once again, my mouse is acting up. So we did a head. We can do a describe. Let's see something here. Let's just do a describe. Here. Okay, so the percent average is 23.4%, which is kind of interesting. Standard deviation is 28. Minimum is 0. First quartile is 34%. Max is 100%. 74%. Third quartile minus 34% is, oh, so you can see that the interquartile range is actually pretty. No, it's not. This is 42 from it's about 41 points separate the first and third quartiles, okay? Oh, this is interesting. So there are some, well, let's come back over here and do this. Okay, let's drop code Y and rename Okay, good. I'm not quite sure what that is, but you know, down here I said, neither do I. Go and watch some videos. We know that, that's what I would have to do. Okay, that's what I would have to do. But what's a measure? Well, a measure, you know, a measure could be a dimension. Okay, let's go over here. You know, this is the one I'm never quite I never can remember how to do it. So we got a little bit of information here. Let's do this. Okay, so we're going to look at a histogram of the head count, a histogram of head count. No, we're going to use internet access now as our data frame. What about a box plot? Hmm. That data frame isn't that big. Interesting. Don't know why this first one didn't work. Head count is certainly there. Let's try this. Let's try a box plot. We're going to use one of my favorites. Calculate the quartiles and then calculate the interquartile range. Does seem to be a lot of, good grief, a lot of outliers in this data, in the head count data. While the percent falls between 0 and 40%, interesting, but still really skewed to the left, as you can see. Interesting. All right. All right. The data goes on. Hmm. So what does this tell us? What it tells us, the vast majority of the world, this is interesting. So what does head count represent? This is the number of people who have internet access in a country. And this is the percentage of the total population. Well, this makes perfectly sense. The more people in a country who have internet access, the higher the percentage of the population is going to go. So you would certainly hope this would be true. Mm-hmm. Very nice. Not a bad plot at all. I wonder if I clouded over because I don't see the moon out there anywhere. And it's after 11 o'clock. Okay, good. Hmm. Interesting. That's kind of interesting. Not necessarily helpful, but interesting. Taking a few seconds to generate this pair plot. I mean, this certainly would be a correlation between head count and percent, right? Because as the head count goes up, the percentage go up. So that's fairly obvious. Hmm. Oh, here we go. Huh. Interesting. I'm not quite sure how to interpret that, but it's interesting nonetheless. So what does this plot tell us here? Okay. Use the plot of a head count values over time for a specific country, e.g., Zimbabwe. Okay. So what this would be 4 to the with 6 zeros, right? Because what it's doing is using the scientific notation. So it's saying it's 1 to the power to the 6th. There we go. So you can see beginning in 2010, Zimbabwe's had a dramatic increase, in the number of people in the who had the number of people over time. I mean, from around 2010, they went from under 1 million people with internet access to over 4 million. Okay, so let's come up here. Let's try changing this to percent. So if this is right, they've gone from under 5% around 2008, 2010 to about 28%. Yeah, 28% around 2020. So that's a pretty dramatic increase. Okay. Okay, with that, my friends, I'm going to bring this session for a close. We had kind of a, this is interesting, my mouse keeps getting stuck there. An interesting evening. We got our first look at Google's Bard. Realized that it has a definite opinion on Bible translations. We also realized that it doesn't write any code, which is sort of interesting. Okay. So at this point, it'd probably be a better comparison between Bing Plus and, well, no, because even Bing Plus can write some sample code. But if you're interested in code, then I would say that you still want to use ChatGPT. Okay. Anyway, that brings this session to a close. We'll see you back over here, hopefully tomorrow evening, 9 p.m. But we'll find out tomorrow, depending on whether I go to the movies tomorrow evening or not. But anyway, thanks so much for stopping by. I will see you. Remember to click that bell icon to be notified whenever I do go live. I have a tendency to do some afternoon live streams, 45 minutes, hour live streams tomorrow afternoon also. So just be sure to click that bell icon for me. And of course, click the like button along the way. Okay? Thanks so much for your time, folks. We'll